Hi, I'm Daniel. I was born in Aldaya, Valencia, in a factory where ideas ferment almost as fast as we do. At Danone, we break the mold. More protein, more flavor, more energy. But to reach supermarket shelf across Spain, I have to overcome a very big challenge. My first days in the factory were chaotic. I knew the new came out every minute, and the machines were simply overwhelmed. We had to be ready to cover massive demand, but the capacity meter kept rising, hitting 100%. Every time we reached the limit, the machine would stop. In week 49, for example, we were producing 267 tons in Aldaya, and the machines just couldn't take anymore. Aldaya had a production cost of 650 per ton, which result in a total of 167.050 just to meet that demand. However, we need to find a solution, because the factory was reaching its limit, and any additional demand could lead to a complete overload. We decided to ask our cousins in Wetzlar for help, because their production cost was 600 euros per ton, compared to Aldaya's 650 euros per ton. However, the 1,700-kilometer distance between the factories increased logistic cost. Each truck transporting yogurt from Wetzlar cost 1.2 euros per kilometer, meaning 88.7 euros per ton, adding up to 9.156 euros in total for 4.5 food trucks. The total cost per ton in Wetzlar was 600 euros per ton, plus 88.7 euros for transport, reached at 88.7 euros per ton. This ended up being more expensive than producing everything in Aldaya at 650 euros per ton. So we had the question whether this option was really more profitable, even thought the initial production cost in Belgium was lower. With Wetzlar total cost being higher than Aldaya's, we decided that Aldaya will remain our main plant. To cover most of the production, in week 49, Aldaya will produce 257 tons of DANONE at 650 euros per ton, resulting in a total cost of 167.050 euros. This met the usual demand, but when production reached maximum capacity, we turned to Wetzlar to avoid overloading the plant. The plan was simple. Aldaya will fully cover production during low demand weeks, while in high demand weeks, Wetzlar will help with extra volume. In those weeks, instead of overloading Aldaya and risking quality of delivery times, Wetzlar will produce up to 103 additional tons at a cost of 688.7 euros per ton. This meant an additional cost of 71 euros for those 103 tons, including transport. This way, the total production cost for those high-demand weeks become a balanced combination between both plants. And Danone, we look for more than just numbers. We know that in the long term, decisions need to be responsible, not only profitable. So while analyzing the option of production in Aldaya and Wetzlar, there will be invisibles are factors that also play a role. First, sustainability. Every extra kilometer of transport increases our carbon footprint. From Wetzlar to Aldaya, we're talking about 1,700 kilometers per trip, meaning that each truck we send generates more CO2 emissions. Even though we try to optimize each truck by lowering them to the maximum 23 tons, each journey has an environmental impact. We know our consumers care about sustainability, so every transport decision must consider its ecological footprint. Secondly, flexibility. When making this kind of decision, it is important to consider how flexible the production network is. In this case, keeping Wetzlar as an alternative production seat gives Danone extra protection. If demand suddenly raises or if Aldaya faces technical problems, this flexibility reduces risks and helps ensure continuous supply even in unexpected situations. Today, I continue traveling across Spain, proud of my origins in Aldaya. My story began in a small factory that soon expanded thanks to the collaboration with our friends in Wetzlar. Together, we proved that efficiency alone is not enough. We must also be responsible for the impact we create. Thanks for joining me on my journey. See you next time.